Hello, today I will explain the Catholic understanding of religious freedom, what the right is, where it comes from, and how far it extends, and how it relates to the states of duties towards the true religion, that being Catholicism. I also show how Vatican II's teaching in Dignitatis Humanae is to be understood in continuity with earlier church teaching, and that is to say, how does this fit into the tradition of the church? And then I briefly want to go over Archbishop Marcel Lefebvre's objections, as he famously opposed to religious liberty found in Dignitatis Humanae, among some other things in Vatican II, like ecumenism and collegiality. He is perhaps the most famous critic of Vatican II, and it is hard for me to discuss religious liberty in Vatican II and not think of him and his writings that I am very familiar with. So we will wrestle with that. The Church teaches that the right to religious freedom is grounded in the dignity of the human person. Human beings are rational creatures created by God with an intellect and a reason. We are ordered to seek the truth, especially truth about Almighty God, because the intellect must assent freely, and religious belief cannot be authentic if imposed by force. Therefore, the right to religious freedom means that persons should not be coerced by the state, social groups, or individuals in religious matters. This right is often misunderstood, and the Church does not teach that all religions are equally true, nor that error has rights. Rather, persons possess civil immunity from coercion while they seek the truth and adhere to it. This includes worship, education, and association, both privately and publicly. However, the right is not absolute. Public order, morality, and the rights of others may justify limits. For example, the state may prohibit violence, exploitation, or grave disorder, even if done under a religious pretext. Here is a quote that really captures the traditional teaching that some traditionalists appeal to in dissenting from Vatican II. Quote, "The equal toleration of all religions is the same as atheism." It's a quote from Pope Leo XIII in Mortale Dei. And next slide. Catholic teaching does not reduce the state to religious indifference. The state has duties towards truth and the common good. Since religion benefits society, governments should respect and protect the Church's freedom and the moral law. Historically, some Catholic states gave public recognition to the Church in making it an official state religion. Vatican II did not abolish this possibility, though, but instead insisted that even where the Catholic faith is specially recognized, the rights of all persons must be respected, and no one may be forced into any religion. Some think Vatican II contradicted earlier popes such as Blessed Pius IX or Leo XIII, as pictured in the slides. A better reading is Development of Doctrine, which is a theological idea we get from the great theologian St. John Henry Newman. Now, earlier teaching condemned the idea that all religions are equally true, like in that quote that we read, and rejected militant secular states hostile to the Church. But Vatican II, on the other hand, addressed a different question, which is, what are the limits of civil authority over conscience in modern pluralistic or diverse societies? It answered that the state lacks competence to coerce belief. The Church still teaches that truth is objective and that the Catholic Church possesses the fullness of revealed truth. Having technical difficulties on the slides. There we go. Sorry about that. Archbishop Marcel Lefebvre became a famous critic of Vatican II, as I said before, and he believed the new teaching contradicted prior magisterial statements and encouraged relativism. And I have a quote that I pulled from a documentary that's on YouTube. If she, the Church, puts what she calls errors and false religions on the same footing as herself, she no longer has a reason to exist. I think this statement in and of itself is actually correct, but the thing is that's not what Vatican II taught, as we went over. So the Church's mainstream theological response to this is that he is confusing two different questions, which are this: whether truth exists and whether the state may compel assent to said truth. Vatican II defended immunity from coercion and did not teach that false religions are equal to the Catholic faith. Thank you. That is my presentation.